they'll occasionally try to sell that your favorite ball club just continuously fails in the clutch, and all they would need to do is come up with more quote-unquote big hits. I've got quite the rude awakening for you today. Good morning to you. Good Tuesday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday if you're into football and or hockey. I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins in the same place that you found this. Cardinals 6, Pirates 3 last night in St. Louis. That's a 5th consecutive loss. That's 8 losses in the past 10 games, and that's an overall record of 12-24, a nice, even mathematical .333 winning percentage, which is to say they lose 2 of every 3 games that they play. They're in year 6, have never really been a whole lot better than this. They're all still employed. Needless to say, over the years, and this is my 21st year of covering the Pirates, I've seen a lot of the same patterns. One of those patterns is that when things are going very badly, in particular on offense, the manager, the general manager, the people in the clubhouse, the players, will focus on situational shortcomings. They'll say, yeah, we're hitting the ball, but we're just not getting the big hit when we need it. A lot of that's going to be echoed in other ways as well, including the broadcast, whether it's TV or radio, or for that matter, discussion of the games that happen anywhere. There's a lot of emphasis on clutch or lack of clutch. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and take a look at what the Pirates' statistics are. First off, overall, let's do that first. I have my laptop open in front of me here, and I'm going to check the current updated statistics, including this latest stinker last night at Busch Stadium. The Pirates as a team are batting, this is simple average, .223. That's 27th out of the 30 teams in the majors. That's very bad. Their on-base percentage is .306. That's 23rd. That's also bad. Their slugging percentage is, I got to scroll all the way to the bottom each time. That's why it takes a little extra time, is .335. That's second worst in the majors. Only the White Sox have shown less pop. This is overall now. So their slash is .223, .306, .335. My friends, that's a bad hitting team, period. No qualifications, no sorts, no filters. They're just bad at swinging the bat and really just competing in any way, shape, or form at the plate. But before I switch over, they also have only 26 home runs. That is the third fewest in the majors. Only the Royals and the Blue Jays have less at 25 and 23. All right, so you say, but I know this. I know that they're leaving guys all over the bases. They strike out looking with guys all over the bases. And my counter to that, to you, actually I have a couple of them, is first off, sit down for this. They have a .348 on-base percentage, the Pirates do, with runners in scoring position. That is the 8th best in the majors. They've actually been dynamite at reaching safely whenever they have runners in scoring position. So it's not like they're choking or gagging or whatever the common narrative is that accompanies a lack of clutch. They're going up there and having some of their best at-bats. One more time to repeat for emphasis. They have a .348 on-base percentage. 8th best in all of Major League Baseball with runners in scoring position. And the other counter that I've got is that the reason that it seems like the clutch thing is an issue or even the issue is because it really stands out for you, because it does for me too. I'm not immune to this. That they just don't hit anywhere near enough in general to have those situations become more commonplace. The teams that do well in the clutchy categories invariably are the teams that just in general put a lot of people on and can drive a ball into the gap or over a fence. And this team doesn't do anything positive at the plate by default overall. So when it comes from the people who are running the team, when it comes from the manager or the GM, and they know better, what they're trying to do is to obfuscate the real problem, which is that they don't have good hitters. And whatever good hitters they have, unless they've already been formed somewhere else, they don't develop them further. They don't make them better. This has been true for 5+ years now. This is not some hot new trend. We're now even into our third hitting coach under these guys. And all the same stuff applies. They're too passive. They'll hit for a little while if they come from somewhere else, and then here they'll just magically lose it, just like Manuel Valdez is going to lose it before long. And they can't hit. They can't hit. It doesn't have anything to do with the timing or the vibe of the game or the pressure or any of that spooky stuff. They just can't hit. When we come back, J1Q.
It's Gun Storage Check Week. Help prevent unwanted access to your firearms. No one wants their unsecured gun to be used in an accident, a suicide, or a crime. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to secure your firearms. Learn more at gunstoragecheck.org. That's gunstoragecheck.org. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
Today's J1Q comes from Eric, who says, DK, I know my own personal thoughts, but do you think that Ben Cherington can look Derek Shelton in the eye and fire him and still maintain any semblance of self-dignity? Sure, Shelton's been awful, but he's only cooking with the recipes and the ingredients given to him. This is going to sound like I'm going to duck away from answering your question, Eric, and I'm not. But I'm going to answer this based on precedent and based on how I believe this firing actually will occur. It will not be, I believe it cannot be, Cherington's unilateral call. It wasn't Neil Huntington's unilateral call when Clint Hurdle was fired. That was a Bob Nutting move. Now, they did all go down to the office. They all did walk through that same door together. But Hurdle was fired by Nutting. And if you'll recall, also late in 2019, Huntington would be fired eventually as well. So if anyone's firing Shelton, now, soon, or whenever, it's going to be Nutting. Now, extrapolating this further, when your GM makes statements in public, the way Cherington did this past winter, such as, we're accountable together, and he's referring specifically to Shelton. We're accountable together. I don't know how else to interpret that. I can't even conceive of another way to interpret that other than that they are tethered together, meaning if one goes, they both go, maybe voluntarily. Here again, something similar happened in late 2019 when Nutting made clear that he was going to fire Huntington. Frank Coonley, the team president, said, if he goes, I go. Nutting said, okay, you go too. And there they all went. So we also have precedent for what happens when they are, accountable together or tethered or however they would prefer to paint that. This is one of many, many, many reasons that when I've been putting this forth, that they need to be fired, I never separate them because I don't believe that they can be separated. I don't believe that they will be separated, Eric. I believe that you're going to see when one goes, both go. But really, again, I don't mean to avoid what you asked. I just don't think it's plausible that Cherington can do that. But if to attempt to answer it, would Cherington lose his dignity and everything else? Yes, absolutely. Oh my goodness. I can't even fathom the criticism, the avalanche of venom that would come down on everybody if only Shelton were to be fired. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Pirates. We'll be back with another one of these tomorrow.